Hello everyone and welcome to Survival Japanese. Today's lesson will be about this over here. For those of you who can read Japanese kanji, or some of it anyways, you probably have a very good idea as to what today's lesson is going to be about. For those who don't, well, those two kanjis together actually mean doushi, which means verb. So today will be about verbs. Today's lesson will be about the different verb groups in Japanese. For those who know Spanish and French, don't know much about Spanish, but as far as French is concerned, I'm sure you know that there are three different groups, verb groups in French, and this is very important because depending on the verb group, they have a different way to conjugate, and it's the same thing in Japanese. So being able to identify in which group a verb belongs to is very important. Group 1 verbs, in order to determine in which group the verb belongs to, you have to check the dictionary form, and the group 1 verbs will end with you, like this. I'll give you more examples, obviously, so you can get a better idea. Examples? Should be examples actually, but of group 1 verbs. Yeah, missing S there. So tatsu, to stand, ends with a U over here. Tatsu. Suwaru, same thing, ends with U over here. Uru, to sell, same thing, ends with a U. I think you're starting to get the idea, right? U. So they are the first group. Okay. Group 1 verbs, also called godan doushi, which means consonant stem verbs. Okay. Group 2 verbs. Group 2 verbs end with either eru or iru. So you might say, well, it ends with a U, just like the first group. Yeah, that's true. But the difference is that although it does end with a U, just like the first group, it also has iru or eru, or IR or ER that precedes the U actually. Wow, it was hard to explain. Okay, a few examples. Kiru, to wear. So you see, I-R-U, iru. So in this case, second group. Miru, to see. Same thing, I-R-U. So second group. Okiru, to get up. Same thing, I-R-U. Well, I think you're starting to get the idea. Here, it's deru, E-R-U. Also good. Second group, to go out. And taberu, to eat, E-R-U, same thing. So they're also called ichidan doushi, or vowel stem verbs. There are exceptions, however. The verbs that you will see on this slide should belong to the second group because of their ending, but because they're exceptions, actually belong to the first group. So you might want to memorize those verbs. I won't spend too much time on here. If you really want to have a better look, you can just pause the video or take notes or whatever. So I'll read them quickly. Hairu, to enter. Ashiru, to run. Iru, to need. Kaeru, to return. Kagiru, to limit. Kiru, to cut. Shaberu, to chatter. And shiru, to know. So all of those verbs, despite their ending, belong to the first group. And finally, the third group, irregular verbs, there's only two of them, kuru and suru. I will make a video about this one because it's used very often in Japanese. There's very special usage about this one. So keep your eyes peeled. So basically, this video is much shorter, and I just wanted to give you a quick idea as to how to identify the verbs. Well, how to identify which groups the verbs belong to when you meet them. Alright? So by checking the end of the dictionary form of a verb, you can determine what kind of verb it is. It's the same thing in French as well. Depending on the ending of the verb, you can pretty easily determine in which group it belongs to. So you see, this is going to be very important to keep in mind when you actually conjugate the verbs, because verbs of different groups conjugate differently.